got another three big game previews coming at you this week. We'll start off with number 7 Penn State going on the road to Columbus, Ohio to face the number 3 Ohio State Buckeyes. Evan, I'll let you start with thoughts on this one.
So this is my upset game of the week, and I'll get into that a little bit. Mainly, I think Penn State is a very well-rounded team. I think they're a good team. I think they finish games strong. You've seen that all year when they were facing Iowa, West Virginia. Yes, I know it's Delaware. They put up 66 on them. They're a strong team that doesn't play down to anyone. Now you got to play up to someone because you're going to Columbus with the number 3 team in the nation, right? So with Ohio State, I have not been impressed at all, and I'm curious to see how Jordan breaks it down just at all. With it, of course, you got Marvin Harrison Jr. who's lighting it up, but they start games so slow. I know that Maryland game, yes, they got it going, but come on, it's Maryland. You can't be playing patty cake with them at home. They got lucky to beat Notre Dame. So Penn State is a really good team. This is going to be a close game, but Penn State isn't going to come play patty cake. They're going to come hit them in the mouth, and Ohio State can't get behind too much early.
All right, so with this game, first it's the first of 3 big games, right? You have Penn State, Ohio State this week, Michigan, Penn State in 3 weeks, if I remember right, November 11th, and then you have Michigan playing Ohio State at the end of the year. These are the 3 games that are going to decide the Big Ten East. I don't think anybody would ever dispute that. But as for the game, um, Penn State to me is a really good team. We saw that, Sean Clifford the past few years, right? The knock on him has been he has not been able to go win a game with his arm. A few weeks ago, I mentioned this with Sam Hartman at Notre Dame, but I believe he could do it. Drew Aller to me, who's the new Penn State quarterback, I believe can do that. But going on the road to Columbus against the Buckeye defense that I feel like has really improved, it's going to be a tall task. But as for the Buckeyes offense, to me, it's gotten going. But I don't even think it's at full strength yet, to be honest with you. They were without Ibuka last week. They were without Ibuka, and Mine Williams last week. We saw that they put up 41 points on Purdue. Shout out Marvin Harrison Jr. for having a big game. Um, Penn State actually has not beaten the Buckeyes since 2016. That was the famous Grant Haley blocked field goal game, if you guys remember that one. Um, I'm going to say my pick for a little bit later, but I'm curious to see who Evan picks and why.
Yeah, by the way, this is a nice week for Michigan. So Michigan plays at Michigan State. That's a funeral. They're going to put Michigan State away. They might not even make a bowl this year. So they get to have the funeral over there while these two beat up on each other. It looks very nice for Michigan right now. But as for my prediction, I'm going to stick with, you'll see this on our Instagram, PWTB for life. Go check it out. Our picks. This is one of my upset ones this week. I'm going with Penn State.
4?
What was that? Oh, score. We will go. I think it'll be about medium scoring. Give me Penn State 27-24. Very close game.
All right. So with my score prediction, I feel like home field advantage plays a huge part in this game. Yes, I'm taking the Buckeyes. I feel like I said, Ohio State's defense has been improved. I like Penn State's defense. The Big Ten East might have 3 of the best defenses in the country, honestly, with Michigan, Penn State, and Ohio State. So those games that I mentioned might all be low scoring. I'm going to go with the Buckeyes here to win this one, 26-21. I don't think Ohio State's offense explodes, but they do just enough with the firepower that they have to get the job done at home and knock off the Nittany Lions. Next, we'll go to the third Saturday in October, where Tennessee takes a trip to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, to face the Crimson Tide. Evan, thoughts?
Yeah. So can Tennessee do it back to back? That's the question. I know, obviously, earlier this year, a totally deflating loss at Florida. But you win this game, you're back in it, right? You're still one loss. Alabama is one loss. This is win or go home time right here. In terms of the college football playoff, or maybe being runner up to Georgia. Right. So Tennessee, obviously being at Alabama in Tuscaloosa is going to be a little tougher. But Tennessee's been doing what they've needed to do. They beat South Carolina. They beat Texas A&M. Not world beaters by any means, but solid teams who can move the ball. That's what matters too. You can't have such a big celebration about a team, maybe like Kentucky, I say in the SEC, who does not get good quarterback play, to celebrate too much about that. But anyways, with Alabama, I think they're such a weird team this year. They don't feel like the dominant Alabama at all. They feel like they're winning the games. They won that game at USF. They won the game last week against Arkansas by 3 points. So not the same Alabama, but they're winning. So I'll say my prediction. This is a really interesting game, actually.
All right. So with this game, the score was 52-49 last year. Do we expect that one? No, we do not expect that high scoring again. However, I do think this game could be high scoring. You look at the potential of Tennessee's offense, and with Joe Milton has the potential to get things going. Now, unfortunately for Tennessee fans, it hasn't been to the level that we saw Hendon Hooker last year. They scored 20 points in a win last week against Texas A&M. I can almost promise you, if you score 20 points in this game, you will not be coming out with a win. Alabama's talent is undeniable. We know that Jalen Milroe has struggled. I know Evan mentioned the USF game where they scored, I believe, 17 points, and they only beat Arkansas 24-21 last week. So it goes without saying that this is not the dominant Alabama that we've seen in years past, right, under Nick Saban. But going on the road to Tuscaloosa, I just think it's going to be hard for Tennessee to come out on top in this game. We know how good the Alabama defense is, and just playing at home with that crowd, I feel like that'll be enough for them.
Yeah. So I agree, and especially you say Alabama, kind of takes the foot off the pedal. Jalen Milroe kind of takes the foot off the pedal. If you look at his yardage, he'll rack up like almost 200 yards in the first half, and then they don't use him anymore. I think he had like 40 yards in the second half last week. So I think they'll do just enough. I think Alabama realizes this is Nick Saban and all of them realize this is a big game. So I'm going to take Alabama 31-20, but I would also not be surprised at all if Tennessee won this game. But my official pick is going to be Alabama.
All right. So I like that Evan mentioned that this game is win or go home for the playoffs. We've seen what Nick Saban teams can do with their backs against the wall. And while this is not necessarily a back against the wall situation for the SEC, it's almost a back against the wall situation for the college football playoff, because I don't know what their odds are of getting in with 2 losses, but I would not feel good if I was an Alabama fan in that situation. Knowing that and knowing that Alabama's playing at home, I'm going to go with the Crimson Tide to actually roll in this game, no pun intended. Give me Alabama to win 38-20. And then the third and final game that we're going to talk about is Utah going on the road to Los Angeles to face the USC Trojans. Evan?
Yeah, so this is obviously USC got spanked in a real way. And I know Notre Dame's season isn't what they expected. They already have 2 losses, but that is going to be a game people remember for a while. That's going to be the game, even if Caleb Williams becomes an NFL star or a bust, that he got exposed. He did get exposed. He was the reason why they lost. You could say about the defense and all that, right? But, he got outplayed by Sam Hartman, right? So going home, you have 1 loss. So college football playoff is looking unlikely right now. But if you run the table in the Pac-12, that's a strong argument, right? I'm not saying that's going to happen. Oregon and Washington look pretty good, but that's still a strong argument to make it. So there's still something in terms of that to play for. Obviously, the pro scouts are still watching Caleb Williams. Utah is good, but they're not great. I thought they would be a little better this year. They're winning the games they need to. But can they go on the road at USC and get that win? That's going to be difficult. And I'm not too familiar with Utah playoff roster wise. So I'm curious what Jordan has to say to that, but that's my feelings on it.
All right, so this game is very interesting. Evan mentioned that USC just got smacked in the mouth last week at Notre Dame. And while Notre Dame's season is, not what they expected to be, USC still has all their goals in front of them, right? Luckily for the Trojans, that was not a conference game, so they're still undefeated in the Pac-12 play. They only have the 1 loss, so everything's still in front of them. For Utah, this is a must-win situation if you want to play in the Pac-12 championship game. They have 1 loss in conference. I believe that was to Oregon State a few weeks ago, if I remember right. going on the road to USC though, and facing Caleb Williams at offense. I know that they did not look great last week, but would you think that they would stay down for that long? I You always have the saying that you can't keep a good thing down for long or something like that. Caleb Williams is still a really good quarterback. I don't really look at his performance last week and go, oh well, he's not good. I still think he's really good. The USC defense, though, in my opinion, it is a huge question mark. We've seen this time and time again from Lincoln Riley. Going back to his days at Oklahoma, he always had a top five offense in the country and a not very good defense, which is the reason why he never won a playoff game when he took Oklahoma to the playoff. Um, I just think, again, I just think that going on the road, Utah might be without Cam Riding again. I'm not certain on that. I do think that they can put up points because this USC defense, like I said, has not lived up to the hype. Not really the hype, just hasn't really gotten better from last season, if I'm being honest with you. And I just look at USC's offense on the other side, and I just think this is a huge disadvantage for the Utes.